Good day to everybody. It's the morning after our painful exit from the World Cup. I've listened to a lot of perspectives so far, but I always say that everything is everything, and everything, as far as big groups are concerned, is always about leadership. I've noticed that we are stuck in a vicious cycle. Team with a lot of talent and potential have our own destiny in our own hands, bottle it, head coach leaves, render an apology, rinse and repeat. It's not good enough. For the FA president and the federation, I think the biggest indictment on them is the fact that there's a perception out there that whoever is hired as head coach does not have a free rein to be able to carry out his duties. I don't think that is good enough for a team that wants to actually make progress. First thing I want to ask is, did we legitimately have a psychologist in camp? If we didn't, that is an atrocity. If we did, an even bigger one. Because how do you concede back-to-back goals in quick succession in your first game, your second game, and your third game? I mean, nothing changed. Nothing. And for that, they will have to take full responsibility. On the part of the technical team in Otoado, I've been shocked by some of the decisions I've seen in this competition. And I think that the red line for me on Otoado knowing what the right thing was and not doing it was him deciding to yank both his captain and Jordan Ayew at halftime. If he truly believed that those were the experienced players that could lead this young group, why were you yanking them at such a crucial time? Did you yank Jordan because of that error he made? Did you yank Andrea Ayew because he missed a penalty or because his head dropped? I mean, these are some of the things that have been going through my head. Otoado himself has not helped with his posture ever since he navigated the playoffs. He's had this air of he cannot be questioned, and that if it goes well, he'll be praised. If it doesn't, then of course we'll criticize him. He's questioned the knowledge of journalists at every corner that he's gotten. That's very unfair as well, but I don't blame him. You know, the most dangerous people in the world are people with nothing to lose. We hired him on a part-time basis. He had his Dortmund job. He had told us that regardless of how it went down at the World Cup, he was going back to Dortmund. And so it was even telling in his tone after everything had gone down. He didn't seem remorseful. He didn't even seem crestfallen like the rest of us because, come on, his future is in Germany, like he says. And I cannot blame him. He didn't hire himself. And so we wish him well in his future endeavors. I just hope that we do not hire another part-time coach. I hope that whoever gets hired again will not be dogged by the perception of not being able to be his own man. And then let me talk about the playing body and the game itself. Again, it's leadership. And so, Andrea, I'm sorry, but you have to take the stick for this. That penalty was absolutely poor, but who doesn't miss a penalty? The greatest players in the world have missed penalties, but you needed to rally your troops after that penalty miss. Your head fell, your shoulders slumped, and the rest of the group followed suit. Andre has always been charismatic. I've always given him that. The clap is signature. We laugh about it, but it is. The chest beating as well. If there was ever a time where Ghana needed Andre Ayew or his troops needed him to beat his chest and clap to rally the group, this was the time. Because why? In perhaps Ghana's most important game in the last 2 decades, is 21-year-old Mohamed Kudus trying to drive the team. That for me was completely unacceptable and is evidence of where the team is at the moment. We're out, and so a lot of the crying will be over spilt milk, but we need to make sure that we do not go back to this vicious cycle of repeating the same mistakes and making apologies. The Black Stars, as it is, needs to have a sit down with itself and identify what they need to do going forward. Of course, we are going to hire a new coach. We need to get that decision right. The playing body needs to be examined again. Some people need to say goodbye to this team. Some people need bigger roles in this team. And that's just the honest truth. We have an AFCON coming. We do not want to make these same mistakes again. As for mentality, we need to work on our mentality because it's been a big letdown for us so far. A good day to all of you again.